All right, so the plot thickens. Oh boy. Oh wow. It got good. It got good. So before I get started, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Get on in here now. Get on in here. Subscribe. So for the first part, Pops kills Crystal. Basically half starving, right? For I guess a couple of weeks, I guess, right? Or a while. And then fed her a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and then shoots the poor girl. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh God. Because before she shoots her, she was like, trying to like see like all she knew and what she can do about this information. And that's when Crystal was like, she said that Kanan believes that Rock was the one to have killed Famous, and that's when it was like, oh, light bulb went off on her head. It was like we could put Kanan against Rock, and this would be the perfect plan. And then she shoots the girl. I was like, oh nah, oh nah. So I was like, oh shit. So you had that bit, and then you had like Kanan, like constantly going, crazy, trying to like figure out like what's going on. So Jukebox sets up like an intervention and have them all sit together and talk. And that's when Rock said, she told Ken, I had nothing to do with it. And then he was like, she said that, I love Famous. And he's like, yeah, like you love D-Wiz. But then she said, that was different. That whole ordeal was different. And it was completely different. Right. And they had that talk. She's like, listen, I can't be cleaned up after your messes. But see, Rock, I wouldn't say she's a hypocrite, but it's like she's still a concerning mom. And then because we seen later the big meet where it was Kanan and Unique, where they had that talk, they had that conference, they had that meeting, and he was like, because he thought, because Kanan's asking around, because he's like, yo, Famous is dead, Crystal is missing, what's going on? So he talks to Unique, and that's when Unique's like, listen, man, I got no problems with you. He said, I have problems with Rock. It's not with you. But he said, if you and Rock is working together, then we got problems. And then he was just like, so about that Ronnie shit, like, don't tell me you had nothing to do with it. He said, nah, man, I killed his ass. He said, I put his ass down. I do it again. And then that's when Unique was like, okay, all right. I see this. And then he was just like, if you join our side, I got your back. And then that's when Kanan was like, my man OC, bullets just come out of nowhere these days, man. Fucking bullets, you can catch a bullet in a tree, you can catch a bullet by the fucking fountain, and even by the slides and shit. Bullets is fucking everywhere. That's exactly what he just told Kanan, like that fucking bogus story about that shit. I'm like, yeah, come on, we know you did it. Come on, right? And then that's when you see like Unique later talk to Akbal about it, and he was just like, he likes a guy with like who sticks to his work. He likes a guy who's like, with purpose. He like, nah, Kanan's growing up to be a fine man. He like, nah, man. Now, before anybody even gets started with that shit, I just don't want him to be Breeze. I really don't want him to be Breeze at all. He just better stick to being Unique. I don't want him to be Breeze, because I will be pissed if he's Breeze, because I'm like, nah, man, I'm not sitting with this. Like, he can work with him. They can work together for a while, but don't be Breeze. Like, don't be Breeze. But I like what they was telling here with the story with like Kanan and Unique. I was like, okay, we finally got something, right? And then that's when we had like the cops acting like Lou and Rilla. They like, the shooting that happened at the studio. Like, I don't know. I feel like that was kind of sloppy, but on Lulu's part. But then again, it only makes sense because Rilla was, at the time a rapper. So it's like, it only made sense to kill Kenyatta right there. So I was like, all right. But then they asked them, and it was like, oh, so what happened? That's when I don't know nothing. And then he lied and was like, yeah, I was with Amani. And then Amani was all scared. She's not Tasha. So she wasn't built to lie and just be down with Lulu. It's like, nah, she wasn't built like that. So she told him at the bar, she's like, listen, I can't be with you anymore. And then told Lo that she can't work with him or Rilla anymore because it didn't sound right. And it's just like, she doesn't believe Lulu and she can't trust him either. So Lulu just sitting there like he just caught an epiphany. Like, man, she don't want to be with me anymore. Well, And I'm like, Cause you see freaking later where he has this freaking dialogue with Rock, and he's like, you know what? I'm a killer now. Yeah, I accepted my role as being a murderer. You know, I wake up every day. I got murder on my mind. Murder is my life. I need some more murder, bitch. I love it. And I'm like, what? Huh? And then that's when Rock is just like, all this talk about slaying dragons and shit. Like, I don't know, that line to me, I don't know about that line. That dragon slaying shit. I'm like, somebody must have been playing Dungeons and Dragons when they put that line in there. I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck? But he basically tells Rock that he's back, and she like, all right. But then we see at the end, like, Lulu and Rock, I guess, going over to Unique's place. I guess they're gonna probably strike up some sort of deal, though, like some sort of negotiation, because Marvin basically shit the bed because Early approaches Marvin a bit early in the story, and he was like, I know what you did to my cousin Londell, and we ain't gonna sit for this. And that's when he was like, I didn't really do this shit. And he was like, Londell had enemies, but he said, even if I did do the shit, what exactly are you gonna do? And Early went and told Stefano, and he told him, he was like, Marvin fucked up. And that's when you see Stefano and like Rock, and they all at the table, and he was just like, yeah, so about business and stuff, you know plenty about business, don't you, Marvin? And he's just like eyeballing Marvin because he knew Marvin fucked up. So the thing is, Stefano is trying to maybe get Rock to kill Marvin, because he's trying to play it off like, well, Marvin wants to take over. He wants to take over your operation and your work. And that's when Rock is like, I don't believe that. That don't sound right. And he's like, hey, man, I'm just trying to tell you, family look out for each other. And Rock is like, nah, man. And the way Rock was looking at Stefano, I think at this point, he might have to go. Even though they had to negotiate because E-Tone, he killed that dude in the, what was his face? David. Yeah, he killed David in the gay club. He killed him in there. There was a line that Phil Russo and Unique was told. I don't think I could repeat that, but it was a funny line that he said. I can't even repeat that shit, but it was funny. I was like, yeah, and they threw a reference too. It was like a slight reference to the Iceman killer, but it was a funny line. But it was like, okay, that happened. Right, and then that's when, Unique goes over to like Phil Russo, and he was just like, I'm not trying to help you in the war. Basically, he's just saying that the manpower is there, but we're not going to start anything because technically, as I said before, Phil Russo did not want anything to do with the war at all. Sure, like Sal was his man, but he didn't want to participate in the war. And even if he could, the 5 families would have stopped him and be like, you crossing borders and territories and shit. So I was like, okay, like you had that bit, right? And then you still had like Garcia, having his nose, into like Juke's business because he's like, he thinks that he can get something out of Juke. Now I think Juke probably might provide him with some information, like she did in the past with Shannon, so she probably might give him something, because we also seen her reunite with Aisha for a little while. They talked. That was pretty much nothing because she just went along, and then Garcia was talking to her, but then transitioned back over to like Kanan, because Kanan is still, he's calling up hospitals. He beat up Crystal's stepfather, right? He beat up him, trying to get like information, like, okay, what's going on? And then that's when we see like Jukebox reach out to Garcia and was like, okay, like I guess regarding the crystal stuff, so she reaches out to him, and that's when he's like, oh yeah, she found dead here and there and whatever. And that's when he was like, now you owe me. And then that's when we see Kanan go over to Snaps and Pops, and he like, still trying to get answers to figure out what's going on. And then they lie to the boy because they trying to come up with a plan. So they lied to the boy, and it was like, oh, our contacts got back to us. Our contacts wouldn't lie. Yeah, Rock did that shit. So I'm like, So episode 10 is gonna be like all eyes on Rock, because since they told him that, And even though I would say Kanan is still naive, even though it makes sense because he's so blinded by his rage and hatred for Rock, he doesn't see the fact that these two also have connections to the cop, and he's not thinking about this. I kind of wanted him to be a little smart, just a little, like a tad bit smart about this. Like, I know what they're trying to do with the story. Like, they giving us like a long, slow pace and a dramatic pace, and I get that, but come on now, come on. He is like, he was in there before when he was trying to get answers to figure out, like, okay, like what's going on, and trying to explain to them in the beginning about like how the stash houses was robbed, and you seen like the two cops coming out they spot. So I'm like, golly, Kanan, come on. Like, it's two people. Like, he's so blinded by rage because he's like, nah, Rock is, responsible for everything. Granted, his rage is justified because she did a lot of fucked up shit to him. Obviously, it's justified, but it's like Snaps and Pop also have connections to the cops too. So it's like, you wouldn't think that maybe they would have been the ones having access to the cops. Now, I think the saving grace would probably be Jukebox, that probably might tell him, or there will be some sort of slip up where he will figure out that, okay, Snaps and Pop was the ones to have killed Famous and Crystal. Because it's like, now we've probably seen a story of how, he can't be close to not that many people. And as I said too, the only time that Kanan is gonna feel like any sort of like happiness, and I wouldn't say happiness, but I would say like fulfillment and maybe joy in his life, is when he meets like when he meets Ghost and Tommy. When he meets Ghost and Tommy, that's when he's gonna like feel something again, because it's like as if he's gained like two best friends, because he lost two in D-Wiz and Famous, but then he gained like brothership and kingship with between like Ghost and Tommy, and I guess Breeze for a while. I kind of want to see like that dynamic too between like Breeze and Kanan, but we do know it was like Ghost and Tommy that he felt, that brothership towards, right? A mentorship slash brothership towards. So that's when we're gonna like see Kanan, back good again. But other than that, it's just like, no, this is still this season has just been, we fuck Kanan. Sorry, fuck over Kanan. That's what it is. This season is just fuck over Kanan. Murder Fame, murder Crystal, and murder his emotions, because to the point where he goes over to Unique and to talk to him, because he thought that, hey, maybe Unique has something to do with it, even though Unique didn't have anything to do with it. And Rock was outside and she was watching the whole thing take place, and she was like, what's going on there? Like, why is he going over there to see Unique? So that's why I think at the end it makes sense for her to like go over to Unique, because it's also like, okay, because she probably maybe don't want Kanan to interact with Unique, right? Obviously for like Kanan's safety, despite her saying that, it's all up to Kanan to like handle his business, and she can't be fixing his problems. So it's like, nah, she's always gonna be there, because I guess she's the mom's, man. She's a mom. She ain't gonna like just abandon Kanan like that. But because Snaps and Pops lied to Kanan and told him that Rock basically had Famous kill, it's like, damn it, Kanan. But we get it. So it's just like, oh boy, episode 10, y'all. Episode 10 is gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy. Now, Marvin's part, because I almost forgot. So Marvin's part. So he's trying to track down, Gerald's little girl. He's trying to figure out like, oh, because they said that she was sick or whatever. Then she was at like some sort of, well, he tracked down the address by paying off the dude, and that's when she was like behind the door, like the door was locked, and that's when he breaks down the door, saves her and the baby, and then he kills like that adoptive family. Now here's the thing though about like the adoption system. Stuff like that do take place in real life though, about kids being put in cages, kids being peed on, like all of that stuff does take place though. So I was like, okay, Uncle Marvin to the rescue, and he saves her. And that's when he says like, yeah, just said that was a crazy white dude that came into the play, and he killed them both. And he said, I'll circle back with you. So I was like, all right. So I'm like, Uncle Marvin to the damn rescue. Uncle Marvin to the rescue. So I was like, shit. I was like, all right. So, but oh man, episode was good. They playing games here because everybody's pointing fingers and misdirection. It's like, I think it was that person. I think it was this person, right? They pointing fingers. Stefano trying to put Rock and Marvin against each other, which that's a no in Rock's mind. It's like no. Even though she has to work with him to move her fees drugs, but something's gonna have to happen where Stefano's gonna go, right? And then I don't know what they're gonna do with like Unique and Rock. Cause here's the thing. This is why I said it should have been Ronnie. Because it's like if they're gonna, I guess, work together again or settle like differences, then it's like, are we back to square one again? Like we can understand season 2 because of the Italians and it made sense at that time, but it's like, don't do this shit again, please. No, we need different shit. Please don't do this shit again. Please. But I just hope that they do something different. And Kanan's eventually gonna find the truth out that Snaps and Pops killed Famous and Crystal, and he's gonna crash the fuck out. I'm telling you, his crash out is gonna be legendary because he's gonna be like, "You killed the blah blah blah." He's gonna go off because the thing is, his rage and his focus is solely on Rock, and he doesn't see the bigger picture that it's not only just Rock that have access to the police, they do too. So once when he figures that out and word gets to him, that's gonna be it. And then once when the dust will settle and clear, will Kanan take will Kanan take Unique on his offer? Like, will he actually like work with Unique? Will they work together? Now, see, I don't know, because I'm still thinking about Ronnie. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, if they was to like work together, how would that dynamic be? Like how would that actually work? I mean, Rock wouldn't like it. As Kanan say, he's like, you only doing this shit so you could piss her off and get in the way. He like, yeah, but you ain't working with her, right? So I'm like, I don't know. And then also too, B-Rilla, because seeing how B-Rilla and Lulu had like that disagreement at the end, because he was just like, yo, like you quitting the music business, even though Lulu did say that he regretted it because he wanted to like do work with him with the music, but Lulu was like, man, I'm kind of back in my murder game. I want to get back to murking people in the streets and shit. So he's saying he's gonna probably have some work for B-Rilla. So I'm like, all right, probably gonna be some street shit because there's gonna be some soldiers that's gonna be needed. And B-Rilla, well, but then again, B-Rilla, he stayed in the car the last time, so I don't know how much help and usefulness he's gonna be though. Because the time when Kenyatta was trying to rob Lowe's house, he was staying in the. I mean, it makes sense because it was like he was afraid of being recognized. So, but maybe in this time he probably will do something, and we might actually see him. Well, we'll see. We'll see what B-Rilla is gonna probably do. But man, overall, y'all, this episode wasn't bad. I'm like, I was kind of pissed. I was like, Crystal though. You know what? It was my fault because I forgot to add her to the list because. I forgot because I added 4, but it's like Crystal's going to be going. Those 2 cops, Snaps and Pop. I said Stefano, and then I said Early because again Marvin fucked up. He should have killed both Londell and Early. He fucked up on that because now Stefano is going to be like, if Rock don't probably get rid of you, I might have to probably step in on that. So I'm like, oh my god, but. Overall, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I catch you all in the next one.